Jr. and Danica Patrick. The green flag flies, and the 2011 NASCAR Nationwide Series season is green. Coming out of turn number 2, you can already see a couple of the cars getting in that two-car tandem hookup, namely the two Sprint Cup veterans, Boyer and Dale Jr.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see just how this is going to work. If it's going to work like we did with the Cup cars. You see Landon Castle now losing a little bit of touch of the leaders. Are these two cars going to be able to break away like we've seen?
And automatically, you see Landon jump in front of Danica.
Yeah, she's going to have to get up on that rear bumper and really give him a push. The draft is affected differently now with these new cars and this new pavement.
Clint Boyer's going to lead lap number 1 officially with Earnhardt, Allgaier, Logano, Kyle Busch. That is your top 5.
You see Justin Allgaier kind of stuck there by himself. He tucks it in line.
3 wide back in the middle of this field. We saw it last night in the Truck Series. Coming down the back straightaway again, and now we have 2 of those two-car hookups. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, the teammates, pushing on the high side.
He got 4 veterans up front that have done this for a week now, so they've learned how to do it pretty well.
See Ricky Stenhouse there in the 6 car, stuck in the middle with no drafting partner right now, is getting help.
Change for the lead. Here we go as Joey Logano gets the push from Kyle. They'll take the lead on lap number 2.
When this two-car drafting is done right now, as you see, they're going to switch as they got to the lead because that second car is running a little bit on the warm side. But when it's done right, it looks like they're 5, almost 10 miles an hour faster.
Yeah, look at this. Like this right here. You see Clint Boyer getting a big push from Junior.
Junior's got to get a little air on his radiator. We talked about the temperatures being warmer.
Look at Stewart.
Tony Stewart shoots up through the middle. He is getting the push now.
You know, the Cup teams have done a lot of research on how to keep these cars cool so they don't have to switch as often. You don't see that kind of technology in these cars, so they may have to do that switching a lot more frequently than we've been seeing.
2 drivers back here in this series. You see Sam Hornish there in the 3rd spot, Elliott Sadler in the 5th spot in that white car, looking to make their mark back here in this series.
Lap number 3, and we've had 3 different leaders. It's a 120-lap race. This could be a lot of fun today.
It's like musical chairs, and Elliott Sadler was left without a seat.
It's Stewart now, Marola. Sam Hornish Jr. is hooked up with Joe Nemechek. They're running 3rd and 4th. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, then Sadler. He is behind Casey Kane. Dale Jr. trying to lock up again with the 33 of Boyer. That's Justin Allgaier to the left in the 31.
Yeah, and it just took that split second. These 2 cars were out front just a minute ago, but Junior had to get a little bit of fresh air to his radiator. When they did that, they lost about 10 spots.
Boy, that was oh so close. Jason Leffler, you saw him wiggle there. Here we go again with another lead change. 4 laps, 4 different leaders. Kyle Busch now the man up front.
They see Casey Kane now working the outside.
Tony Stewart down low. They're going to make it 3 wide again. You're on board with Tony. Joe Nemechek right alongside.
See, Casey Kane has his teammate. Jason Leffler's tucked right up behind him. Here comes Junior.
Joe Nemechek there in the middle with no help whatsoever. Tony Stewart doesn't have much. He's looking for Clint Boyer to get on his bumper.
You saw the 12 of Sam Hornish. He lost his dance partner as well. Change for the lead up front. They got to make the switch again. Logano goes in front.
That was textbook right there, how they made that switch without losing a lot of time.
Yeah, but look what happens. Here comes the freight train on the outside. Casey Kane, can he get to the stripe? He will not get to the lead. Joey Logano will lead this lap. 4 lead changes in 4 laps. You see Dale Jr. now. He has worked his way back up into that 3rd position.
Well, you see
coming up the middle. Here we go.
Against the wall.
Tony Stewart. He and Clint Boyer have hooked up, and look out. The 51 forces Stewart to check up. That was Jeremy Clements that was right in front of him there, and here we are again, 3 and 4 wide.
Danica doing a great job staying up in this lead group. See her right behind Jeremy Clements.
On the high side, you see the 3 cars there. That's Casey Kane right in that mix, along with Landon Castle, and then the 22 of Brad Keselowski. Still up front, It's Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Stewart, and Boyer. That's your top 4, and that's the first lap where we haven't had a lead change.
Yeah, I was going to say, first time somebody's led 2 laps in a row.
Sorry to disappoint you. Well, we were wondering how long they could do these 2-car tandems, and we're finding out they're starting early. Now you can see the 6th car. That is Ricky Stenhouse. He's trying to get help from Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, and Reed Sorensen back in that back. He had to start at the back of the pack and is already working his way up towards the front.
Yeah, they had unapproved adjustments, something to do with the radiator hose connection that they needed to change, and so he started at the back of the pack and is working his way back. Here comes another rush towards the stripe. It is still Joey Logano with Kyle Busch right behind him, but Tony Stewart has closed.
Yeah, you see how Kyle Busch is offsetting his nose just a little bit. Here comes Tony Stewart now making a move.
They're going to go down to the inside now, and all of a sudden here comes the change for the 18.
Yeah,
and they're going to get blown by.
Yeah, that change is going to cost them. Clint Boyer's latched on to Tony Stewart right there.
Wow. Can they keep this up for 120 laps?
Yeah, you see Clint Boyer doing that offset move. It's not quite as fast as if they were tucked in just in line, but they can keep that radiator cool and stay that way for just a little bit longer.
And yeah, I think what we're seeing here is just what you pointed out before this race, the experience factor here. These drivers have done more of this throughout the week, and they know exactly how to make this work.
You want to know the speeds we're flying, folks? 196 miles an hour so far, the top speed.
That's after they've reduced the restrictor plates, tapered spacers 3 or 4 times this week, trying to control these high speeds.
Look at this now, a 4-car hookup.
Be careful.
The guys in the middle have got to be wondering, what do I do now?
Yeah, this really hasn't worked that well, and the drivers tell me they can't see very well, and the cars get extremely loose in that situation in the middle.
Let me update 2 cars already off. Kelly Byers, Kevin LePage have taken it behind the wall. Our first 2 starting parks. That 4-car has now gone back to 2.
Yeah, and you can see what happened there as Kyle Busch got up there. He lost his partner, Joey Logano, for just a split second, and then Kyle wasn't able to hang on either. Now they're hooked back together. They'll run these 2 back down.
Now they have got about a second lead over the groups that are behind them.
I think Clint Boyer has been tucked behind Tony Stewart the whole race. I don't think he's actually had any real clean air on the nose yet.
There they go again as you're on board with Clint Boyer. Tony Stewart leading that last lap. Boyer second, but for how long?
Boy, look how tricky that is to try to stay right on the bumper, right through the corner, inches from the wall.
Do not try this in rush hour traffic on the freeway.
Yeah, I was talking to a number of the drivers, and I was asking, which is the harder place to be? The driver behind and trying to stay right on the bumper, or the driver in front? They said that the driver in front has a lot more to do. He has to really make sure that he keeps that car attached to his rear bumper, so he's working extremely hard.
Okay, Clint Boyer gets his turn up front.
Here comes Boyer now, our pole sitter, as they make the swap. And look at what happened with both those teams, those 2 tandems, making the switch. It allowed everybody to close up. Brad Keselowski's now into the mix. He's got his old teammate, Justin Allgaier, helping him. And look on the high side. Whoa, 27, a little bit of smoke. He's being black flagged by NASCAR officials, we're being told. So, unfortunately for J.R. Fitzpatrick, looks like he may have some engine problems.
Yeah, not sure if it's an oil leak or oil line loose or the engine actually blowing up, but he's going to have to bring her to pit road.
They see those guys that were a second behind just a couple of laps ago now are starting to catch back up.
I'm going to get back to these guys here. We're just going to push them. I'm not going to try to pass them.
Fine. Tell me. Your car already pushing me out a little bit?
Yeah, simple.
That's the 2 drivers communicating with each other while they're racing. That's kind of different, Dale.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, you've heard spotters on your radio a lot, but talking to other drivers and telling exactly what you're going to do here is something pretty new. Drivers have communicated, but not nearly as much as what we're hearing this week.
Look at this side-by-side action. 4 cars going down the backstretch. Who's going to have the lead going into 3? It looks like it's the Toyotas. Let's get an update on Tony Stewart. Vince.
Well, guys, you talk about the fact that the drivers are talking to one another, and of course Clint Boyer and Tony Stewart doing that, but also the spotters are communicating with multiple teams as well, listening to channels of multiple radios. Just a moment ago, Bob Jeffrey told Tony Stewart, I'm listening to the 18 as they're coming up behind you. So they are definitely multitasking on the track and up top with the spotter stand today.
Kyle pulls out and around. They're going to make the swap again. Logano falls back in behind. That's going to allow that lead group to pull away.
Yeah, and you see the Fords working together there. Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne. You see Junior trying to tag along with them. He doesn't really have a 2x2 partner with him just yet.
I tell you, Trevor Bayne has really caught on to this drafting technique. He got a lot of experience the other day in the 150-mile qualifying race with Jeff Gordon. He does a terrific job being the pusher.
Great group of cars all within earshot of each other. There are the two Fords from Roush Fenway. Do you realize Roush Fenway Racing has never won a nationwide race here at Daytona? They used to own this place back in the days of GTO racing in the Rolex 24. Maybe today will be their day. Here we go again. That's Boyer down low, getting the push from Tony Stewart. Up high, it's the two Toyotas of Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch in front of Joey.
Well, you're right, Dale. Trevor Bayne doing a great job pushing Ricky Stenhouse right here. They've pushed him almost up to the front pack right here so he can try to take the lead. Looks like they're going to get there.
Heading down into turn number 3. The low line is going to nose out in front. And you're right. Here come the two Fords. They are creeping up on the high side right behind Joey Logano. 6 cars now. Throw a blanket over them. They come to the stripe to complete lap number 14.
One thing I see here, Dale, looks like it's harder to block these moves when you have 2 cars running together. It has to be a coordinated block.
That's the problem. As I talk to these drivers, is they're having a hard time with the second driver not being able to see all that and to try to keep him attached. You're not able to do the side drafting and make these blocks nearly as easy. So they said now that may change when it gets down to time to win the race. They might try a little bit more, but it is more difficult, Andy, just you said.
Well, and Dale Jr. without a dance partner, he has lost ground to this lead group. There you see Logano and Kyle Busch making the swap again. That allows the Roush Fenway Fords to move ahead into that 3rd and 4th spot. Tell you what, this is only 15 laps at 120. We've had 6 lead changes, 4 different leaders. Our race presented by GoDaddy.com.